differences is a work of art. The world is brighter, yeah, brighter. What we all really need right now is an upbeat song to sing, an upbeat song to sing. It feels good. Stand as one, it makes us stronger, yeah, stronger. When we see our differences as a work of art, the world is brighter, yeah, brighter. What we all really need right now is an upbeat song to sing, an upbeat song to sing. It feels good when we're together. It feels good when we belong. It feels right when we're united. No divides, living life as one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tell me why we're fighting, can't we just get along? 'Cause we are brothers and sisters. Nothing strong as family, nothing brings us apart. 'Cause life is better together. What we all really need right now is an upbeat song to sing, an upbeat song to sing. It feels good when we're together. It feels good when we belong. It feels right when we're united. No divides, living life as one. It feels good when we're together. It feels good when we belong. It feels right when we're united. No divides, living life as one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sisters, brothers, stronger. Come on. Sisters, better together. Sisters, sing. Brothers, stronger. Sisters, better together. Brothers, sisters, brothers, stronger, better together. Brothers, sisters, brothers, stronger, better together. Brothers, sisters, brothers, stronger, better together. Better together. Brothers, sisters, brothers, stronger, better together. Brothers, sisters, brothers, stronger, better together. Brothers, sisters, brothers, stronger, better together. Better together. Come on. Brothers, sisters, brighter, stronger. We are better together. Oh, it feels good when we're together. It feels good when we belong. It feels right when we're united. No divides, living life as one. I've got an upbeat song to sing. I've got an upbeat song to sing. I've got an upbeat song to sing. Better together. I've got an upbeat song to sing. I've got an upbeat song to sing. I've got an upbeat song to sing. Better together.
Did it again. Good morning, everyone. It's fantastic to see you all. So we are gonna get started now. We've got all sorts of really cool stuff planned for you today. We've got some fun activities for you to be doing, and obviously we're gonna have our story, and we're gonna sing and dance around and worship God together as we always do. It's great to see you all today. Let's have a look who's with us so far. Morning to the woods. Hi Lucy, hi Josh, hi Claire and John as well. Hope you're all okay. Great to see you guys here with us. So like I was saying, we're going to have loads of fun. We've got loads of cool stuff coming up for you all today. Let's have a look what we've got first. We're going to worship God with our singing. So are you guys ready to get up, to jump around, to dance around with us and to worship God with your voices and with your actions? You can either join in with our actions, or why not go wild and create your own actions. So we're going to sing, I'm going to jump up and down, I'm going to spin right round, I'm going to praise your name forever. So are you ready to join me with this one, guys? Here we go.
I'm gonna jump up and down, gonna spin right around, gonna praise your name forever. I'm gonna shout out loud, gonna deafen the crowd, gonna sing my praise to heaven. I'm gonna jump up and down, gonna spin right around, gonna praise your name forever. I'm gonna shout out loud, gonna deafen the crowd, gonna sing my praise to heaven. I will run this race and I will never stop. I follow Jesus till the day I drop. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. When you've got such a lot, when you've got not a lot, what? Be happy. I'm gonna jump up and down, gonna spin right around, gonna praise your name forever. I'm gonna shout out loud, gonna deafen the crowd, gonna send my praise to heaven. I'm gonna jump up and down, gonna spin right around, gonna praise your name forever. I'm gonna shout out loud, gonna deafen the crowd, gonna send my praise to heaven. I'll run this race and I will never stop. I follow Jesus till the day I drop. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. When you've got such a lot, when you've got not a lot, what? Be happy. I will run this race and I will never stop. I follow Jesus till the day I drop. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. When you've got such a lot, when you've got not a lot, what? Be happy.
Thanks for the comment, John. I missed that one. Beck just came up and was like, John, there's no sound. Good, doing well. I turn it off because I figure you guys probably don't want to hear my singing because it's really not very good. But I will try and remember to turn it on. So what I was saying for all of that time was that today's challenge... sorry about that, guys. For today's challenge, you're going to need a piece of paper and you're going to need a pen. Okay, so grab yourselves your paper and grab yourselves a pen, and then on your paper you've got to recreate this. Okay, so you've got to make a tick, bing, a cross, and an arrow pointing to the cross. Okay, do you all get that? Yep. Okay, and then what your challenge is, because obviously that's pretty simple, is to make the arrow switch from pointing to the cross to pointing to the tick instead. And you're not allowed to use your pen anymore. You've just got your paper now. But I will say this, you can go around your house and find anything else to use. But you can't make any marks on your paper. That's it. That's all you're allowed to mark your paper with. Your tick, your cross, and your arrow. And somehow, using anything else around your house, you've got to flip your arrow, but not just like that, because it's still pointing at the cross. You've got to flip it so that it points at the tick instead of the cross. Okay, you guys see if you can do that. And then I'll show you the answer in just a sec, but I want to see if you guys can do it before we finish our story and before we finish our song. So we're going to do another song as well. So see if you can figure out the challenge before we get to the end of all of that. And if you manage it, post in the comments and we'll be able to see who has beaten me to complete today's challenge, okay? Now today we're starting a brand new series all about Jonah. So from the oldest people in the church all the way down to the youngest in our church, everybody is going to be looking at Jonah over the next few weeks. So we're going to be thinking really in depth and we're going to be looking really closely at everything about Jonah, which I think is really cool. It's a bit of a crazy story, isn't it, Jonah, if you've heard it before. And if you've not, you're about to hear a really crazy and cool story. But this is just part one, so we're not going to hear the whole story today. We're just going to hear the first tiny little bit of the story. So are you guys ready? Let's hear our story. And don't forget, give the challenge a go, see if you can do it, and post in our comments to let us know. Here we go, today's story. A long time ago, there was a man called Jonah. Now, when I say a long time ago, I mean a really, really, really long time ago. Like way before your mum or dad were even born, before they were babies. Way, way, way before that, if you can imagine how long ago that is. In fact, it was thousands and thousands of years ago. So there was this man called Jonah. Now, Jonah was what's called a prophet. Now, you might have heard of the word prophet before, but just in case you haven't, a prophet is a little bit like a postman, just for God. So God gives the prophet a message, and the prophet's job, his one and only job, is to take the message and deliver it to whoever God asks him to. Just like a postman is given a letter and has to deliver it to wherever the address says on the letter. Now, Jonah loved his job and he loved God. So here we have Jonah, the prophet. Now one day God talks to Jonah and he says to Jonah, Jonah, I've got a message for the people of Nineveh. I want you to go to Nineveh and to deliver my message, because that is your job after all. Well, as soon as Jonah heard the word Nineveh, his brain switched off, his ears stopped listening, and he didn't hear anything else that God said. Because straight away Jonah was thinking,
what am I going to do? How can I get away? I don't want to go to Nineveh. I don't like those Ninevites. I don't like those people who live in Nineveh. They're Assyrians. We don't like Assyrians. Ugh, Assyrians. Awful people. How on earth am I going to get out of this? I'll have to run away. All the time, Jonah is thinking of a plan. How can I get away from God? Now, obviously, whatever plan Jonah came up with was always going to be a rubbish plan. Because let's face it, there is no way to escape from somebody who is everywhere. You see, because God is everywhere. He's so big, he's so awesome, he's everywhere. He sees and he hears everything. So how on earth Jonah thought he could escape, I don't know. But Jonah wanted to try and run away. So quickly he ran off to the nearest port. Because where do you go when you want to get away? Well, maybe you run to another country. So Jonah went to the nearest port and he found himself a ship to sail across the sea and take him far away. Now Nineveh was miles from the sea. So Jonah was already going in the wrong direction. But when Jonah got to a place called Joppa, that's a funny name, isn't it? He found a ship that was sailing to another place with a very funny name called Tarshish. He jumped on the ship as quick as he could. He ran below deck and just in desperation to get away, he laid down, closed his eyes, curled up and pretended like nothing was happening, like none of this was going on. Now, Jonah fell fast asleep. And while Jonah was fast asleep, something started to happen. Big waves crashed and beat against the side of the boat, one side and then the other. So the boat was being thrown from side to side. The sailors were terrified on the boat. What are we going to do? Now, the storm must have been really bad for the sailors to be so terrified. Because remember, these guys were used to sailing big ships on the ocean. They probably had their fair few storms in their lives. But there they are, terrified, so scared that they all decide that they're going to pray to their own separate gods, not to God, but to other false gods, other made up gods. So they start to pray to all of these different people and nothing happens. When the captain remembers, hang on, Jonah's downstairs. Where is he? Why isn't he up here praying with us? Why isn't he up here helping us, doing something? So the captain runs downstairs and he says, "Why, Jonah, why aren't you upstairs on deck?" Now, it probably didn't sound like that, but that's what pirates sound like. So, "Why, Jonah, why aren't you on deck helping us with this storm?" Well, Jonah came up on deck and they said to Jonah that they were going to cast lots. That means that they were going to draw straws or throw dice to try and find out what was going on. And the lot fell to Jonah. So it all said that Jonah was the reason that there was this big storm. Oh no, thought Jonah. I really hope they wouldn't find out. So they turn to Jonah and they say, "Jonah, what is going on?" And Jonah says to them that it's all my fault. I've caused this because I ran away from God. "Where are you from?" they said. "Well, I'm from Israel," said Jonah. And I serve God, the God who created heaven, the God who created earth, the God who created the oceans and the wind. "Oh no," thought the sailors. "We've heard about your God. How could you do this to us? What should we do now? Your God is so big and so strong and so mighty. What are we going to do?" Jonah said, "Throw me overboard. And as soon as you do that, the waves will die down, the wind will stop, and you'll be safe again."
Wow, isn't that a good story? I love the story of Jonah. Like I said, it's a little bit crazy, isn't it? But at the same time, it's so amazing. And it's going to get even more amazing. If you've not heard the story of Jonah, just wait to see what happens next. So next week, we're going to hear part 2 of the story of Jonah, and I'm so excited for it. Now, I have to apologise for my pirate accent. If you guys can do a better pirate, let me know. And obviously, Jonah didn't actually sail with pirates. Just want to make that clear right now. They were just sailors, regular sailors, not pirates. But I do have a great joke about pirates. Would you like to hear my pirate joke? So it's like this. Why is a pirate a pirate? Because they are! No, just me. I love that joke. I always tell my favourite pirate joke. I love it. So, like I said, we're going to worship God with our singing. I've seen already that the Woods have successfully completed the task. Amazing. Well done. It was like a record time as well. Great work, guys. But let's see if it's the same as my answer. You might have got a different one, which would be pretty cool. I'd love to see if there's another answer. So we'll have a look in just a second. But before that, we're going to worship God with our singing again. Now, after that story, I feel a little bit like we should do My God is so big, so strong, and so mighty. Because I said that, didn't I, in the story. But we're not going to. So we're going to do something else. I know that you've all been loving watching Family at 4 with Worship for Everyone with Nick and Becky Drake. So I'm bringing you another Nick and Becky Drake song that I love. And I hope you guys like this one as well. This one is called Big Family of God. So do you guys know this one? I hope you know it. We're going to sing the Big Family of God. So I might do slightly different actions, but you do whatever actions you guys know. And we'll all just worship God together, remembering how God has created this amazing big family that we're all part of. And how we should all remember that we're loved by God. But also, isn't it important that we remember to love each other? Because God loves us. Anyway, let's worship God with our singing. Let's sing that amazing song, Big Family of God.
Some of us are very small. Some of us like pink and some like blue. Some of us like reading books. Some of us like feeding ducks. That's because we're different, me and you. But God loves everyone He's made. God loves each of us in a special way. That's you and 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 you. God loves you. God loves you. That's you and 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 you. We're part of the big family of God. Some of us have curly hair. Some of us have specs to wear. All of us have different families. Some of us are very loud. Some of us don't make a sound. That's because we're different, you and me. But God loves everyone He's made. God loves each of us in a special way. That's you and 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 you. God loves you. God loves you.
Almost didn't have sound again. Brilliant. I love that song. It's such a good reminder, isn't it? We're all part of this one big family. Everybody. Isn't that really cool and such a good reminder? Now, like I said, I'm going to reveal to you the secret, but I'm going to have to take you down here with me to have a look at how I've solved the problem of the arrow. And we're going to see what it's got to do with anything at all. I wonder if you guys have already figured out what it's got to do with our story. But anyway, let's go a little bit closer. I'm going to have to unhook you and take you. So here we go. Come with me. Here we go. We're going down here. So can you all see it there? Ooh, let's try and get it lined up. Ta-da! There we are. Fantastic. So, what has this got to do with anything at all? Well, in our story, Jonah had a choice, didn't he? He could choose whether to do the right thing, bing, or to do the wrong thing, bing, or sorry. Now Jonah chose the wrong way, didn't he? And he ran away from God. He went in the wrong direction. Now, in life, I think that we can make the same choice. We can choose the wrong way to go. But with God's help, we can change our direction and we can start to move in the right direction, which is God's direction. So here's how I've done it. I've got a glass, and when we look at the arrow through the glass, it's still pointing in the wrong direction, isn't it? But if I take some water and add some water to my glass, shall we see what happens? Ooh. And this is just ordinary water. Let's see what happens to my arrow. It's changed direction and it's gone curving. It's changed direction and now it's pointing towards the tip, isn't it? It's pointing in the right direction. Now, like I said, in life we can be like Jonah and we can choose to go our own way and think that maybe we know better. Or maybe the things around us can make us go in the wrong direction. Like maybe our friends and maybe people around us can make us do this and make us choose all the wrong things. But actually, God is like this glass, and when we let Him, He can come into our lives and He can help us choose to go in the right direction, in His direction. Now Jonah did this to start with, didn't he? But I wonder if in a little while, maybe next week, we'll see whether Jonah can do this and allow God to help him turn things around and go in the right direction. Okay guys, I'm going to take you back so that you can see me again. Whoa, here we go. Oh no! Sorry about that, guys. There we go. We are up and running again. I hope you can all see me now. Yep. Just checking my screen. Bing! There we go. Is that how you guys managed to do it? Did you do it with a glass and a water, or did you have a different way? I wonder how you guys managed to solve it. Maybe you could let me know in the comments. Tell me how you did it. Great. So guys, I want you to try and remember that this week. See if you can remember what we've just talked about, and if you can think about all the different choices you make and whether they're good choices, right choices, or whether they're wrong choices and bad choices, because there's lots of choices each and every day that we have to make, aren't there? And some of them are just really small and don't matter that much, like what kind of cereal we're going to have for breakfast, but some of them are really important, aren't they? Some of them are big decisions. And some of them are just decisions about what kind of person we're going to be. Are we going to play with somebody, or are we not? I mean, that's a bit tricky at the minute, isn't it? Are we going to be nice to somebody, or are we going to be nasty to them? These are all of the different choices, aren't they? And there's so many choices that we have to make each and every day. So what choices do you make? That's what I want you to think about now, okay, and over this week. So right now, though, we are going to worship God with our singing again. And then I've got another challenge for you all, okay? After that, we've got one final challenge before we're going to pray and before we wrap up, okay? It's a little bit of a game rather than a challenge for you all to play at home afterwards. But right now, we're going to worship God with our singing. We're going to sing the song that started playing when it should have been Big Family of God. We're going to sing Every Move I Make. So can you get your robot out? If you've seen me doing it at Kids Church, the pre-recorded Kids Churches already, then I'm sure you'll appreciate my amazing robot dancing skills. So crack out your own robot dancing skills as we dance along and worship God to this amazing song, Every Move I Make. That's all about, isn't it, going in God's direction. Every move that we make, every breath that we take, we want it to be for God. Okay, so here we go. Let's worship God.
Here we go. Na 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 na.
Oh, brilliant. Well done, guys. I'm a little bit out of breath after that one. Whew, bit hot as well. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I see that the Woods used a different method. I did wonder if somebody had used a mirror. Did it not turn the whole thing around? Or did you have a small mirror just to turn the arrow around? Very clever if you did. Well done though, guys. So, that's all we've got time for, but before we go, like I said, I've got one more challenge or game activity that you guys could do at home. So, say hello to my giant elephant. This is not mine, it's Jack's. But today, what I would love for you to do, or an idea that you guys could do, is to find something, maybe not as big as this, because you guys are bigger than Jack and Caleb, So you guys will be able to do this way better. So what you guys need to do is find something, probably maybe like a Lego man or something, anything. It can be a sock or whatever you want it to be, but find something that you're going to hide. Get someone in your family to go and hide it somewhere really tricky to find, and that's going to remind us of how Jonah ran away and tried to hide from God. And then you guys, the rest of you, are all going to go and hunt for Jonah. Okay, so go and see if you can find your Jonah. So I'm going to hide this somewhere in our house, and we'll see if Jack can find the giant elephant. See if you guys can find your Jonah as well. Okay guys, thank you so much for joining us. Let's pray before we go, and have a great day. Stay safe, and we will be back again next week. So let's pray though, guys. God, thank you so much today for all the fun that we can have. Thank you so much that we can remember that you love each and every one of us. God, thank you that you care so much for all of us. And God, help us to remember that this week as we go. And help us to remember to think carefully about the choices we make. And help us to remember that we can always look to you, and that you will always help us and guide us in our lives. Amen. Fantastic, guys. Stay safe, take care, and thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week. Bye.